Hi, this is my Aunt Effie, here to talk to you about another book that I finished reading not too long ago. So, I always like to talk about books that I've read on this channel, and I'm interested in your feedback and your opinions, especially if you've read the book I'm talking about. So, I will tell you a little bit about the book, and I'm not going to give away anything. Also, I'll be ready to read a paragraph or a passage to you just so you can kind of get a feel for the writing style that the author has. And finally, if I see something unique or insightful, I'll share that with you too. So I recently finished reading Whiteout. This is written by Greg Rucka, or Rucka, and it's illustrated and lettered by Steve Leiber. So it's an illustrated book. It's a comic, and it consists of the first 4 issues of an anime series. The copyrights listed are 98, 99, and 2007. So let me just show you some random pages here. I want you to see what the artwork looks like. So there's one. There's one. Let me show you one more. Okay. So it's a surprise to me that I would enjoy an illustrated novel because it's just never something I really got into very often. But I have to say that when I was a child, I read comics and I loved reading. My favorite was Uncle Scrooge, but I also read things like Little Lulu, some Donald Duck. I had a really nice time lying on my bed in the sunshine and reading comics. So I have good memories of that, and they have actually transferred into the way I feel about illustrated novels. So that's nice. I'm glad that I found a way to enjoy them and like them. They're quite good. Whiteout is set in the South Pole. And one of the things they say in the book that's kind of delightful is there's nowhere to go but up. So this novel begins with a dead man's body out on the ice, and Marshal Carey and the post doctor is out there looking at the body and trying to figure out how the body got out there. So they're also trying to figure out how he died. So they're trying to chip the guy off the ice because he's frozen solid to the ice, and they accidentally extricate his arm. And then the wrist tears loose and the hand is still frozen. So they do a real nice job of showing us how freaking cold it is out there. The other men that are living in at the outpost, they are always talking smack about Carrie. They're always making jokes and doing sexual innuendos, but they shut right up as soon as she appears. And whenever she's in their presence, they are just absolutely not doing that. So back to the situation. The corpse is, it turns out that suddenly the corpse is missing a face. The corpse is missing a face. And so they're having a terrible time trying to figure out how they are going to solve the crime without a face. One reason that they're under a lot of pressure to do it quickly is that winter is almost here, and everybody's getting on planes and leaving because nobody can be there in the winter. And so they are getting everybody out of there. Maybe 2 or 3 people can stay, but for the most part, there's nobody there in the winter. So they've got to get this thing solved before everybody leaves for the winter. I hope that sound is not ruining this book review. Okay, the story is really fun and it's really interesting, and we learn about the circumstances in the book of the guy who's dead, and we also find out that he's not just dead, it's actually a murder, and there's a crime, and that someone that is a regular person in the camp is involved. The Marshal Carey, during the experience, gets locked outside, and it's really, really cold. Like on a good day, it's minus 30 degrees centigrade, which is minus 22 degrees Fahrenheit. So Carrie is rescued by a suspicious woman that recently flew in, and she's a Russian woman. And as the story goes on, there's some sexual tension there between Marshal Carey and the woman, even though the Marshal doesn't trust her. That sexual tension is really fun. It's a fun part of the story. So let me read you just a little bit here. I marked what I think is a good spot for me to read to you. So hopefully you can see that. Afraid that they would talk, or some other reason? Feel that? No. Listen to me now. Go ahead. What the frostbite started to do on your hands, you finished when you avulsed the flesh while opening the door. The damage is extensive. Spit it out, Doc. He's telling you your fingers are dead. Is that right? The cells froze, thawed, froze again, thawed again. The fingers are turning gangrenous, and it'll spread. I'm going to have to amputate. Oh. So you can see that it's really quite well done. So, one thing that is unique in this volume is that the author really gets into what kind of a person chooses to live in a place like this. It's dangerously cold. It's extremely isolated. Who falls in love with the ice? Because Carrie, our protagonist, does love living on the ice. This is home to her. Well, that's what I have to tell you today about Whiteout. So this is volume 1, and I would definitely go ahead and read volume 2 if I ever find it. And if you have read this, please let me know in the comments if you know what you thought about it. All right, this is my Aunt Effie saying goodbye, and also I hope that you're reading something really good. I am. See ya.